Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Winnie, a girl from Kenya currently living in China, and welcome to my world. So today I decided to do another sit down video. I figured that most of you like these kinds of videos, and today I'm gonna be speaking on what to expect when you come to China, or mostly the out of the norm things I experienced in China, you know. So it might be personal or like something everyone can relate to, so we don't know. And I'm gonna be looking down because I noted them down in case I go spiraling. And yeah, let's get straight into it. One thing about China, food. Almost all cuisines, just like you put salt in every food, there's pepper. In most of the places I've gone to, pepper is like a key ingredient. And for someone like me who was not used to pepper, I suffered. In fact, the first words I learned in Chinese was saying, please don't put pepper in my food. 不要辣椒. Don't put pepper in my food. Those were the first Chinese words I got to learn. So if you are not spicy tolerant, I mean, you can tell them, some of them can remove it. Yeah, but I ended up just getting used to it. Now I'm able to eat food with pepper because that's the normal way, or you miss. And I find that it's a good flavor. Before, this was not me. Now, yes, pepper, thank you. But I'm okay with either. Pepper, no pepper, fine. And another thing in China is that transport is very easy. From buses to trams to metros to subways. Everything is very cheap and very efficient. It's very easy for you to travel from one place to another because it's cheap, so you can, you can afford it, and they are all comfortable. Yeah. And also Didi, you can always order a car if you want to, but most people prefer public transport because it's faster if you don't want to be on the main roads. Another thing is, this was very tough on me, especially when I landed in China, is that these people are very, I don't know if it's naivety or they're just amazed, or I don't know, but they just take pictures of you anywhere, anytime, anyhow. They will stand and stare. They will, in Africa or in my country, let me just say, when somebody is busy staring at you, you kind of think something is wrong with either your attire or you have something on your face. I just couldn't understand why these people are just taking pictures of me without consent. That's one of the things. Like, some will ask you for consent, some will really not ask you for consent. Like, you literally be on your way doing your business and you see someone picking up their phone just to take a picture. Some will literally just stand and be pointing at you and follow you with their eyes till you leave their vicinity. I found that very bizarre. In the first days I was here, my confidence was really pushed to a different level because I couldn't understand, like, what's wrong with me. And I realized that staying in China, I'm literally reminded every day that I'm black. Like, it's just a reminder that you're different from them. Not really in a racist way, because some people are genuinely have never seen people of a different complexion. So it's really not a bad thing, but it's also really not a good thing. It can make you very uncomfortable, especially if you're the shy kind of person. Yeah, the first days, I really didn't want to go out unless it's really necessary. Another thing I find funny in China, I don't know, I'm yet to like understand. The drainage system in China is okay. The toilets, everything, the pipelines work. But these people always have a bucket next to the toilet that when you do your business finish, you can't drop tissue in the toilets. you have to drop it in the bucket. And I'm like, this is very weird because why? When everything can be flashed? Ah! So that was so bizarre to me. Like, I couldn't do it because I don't understand. I mean, they say that they recycle the water. Bro, now that's very bizarre. That's very weird for me. And honestly, I don't understand. I don't understand. Let me just not lie. I don't get it. Why? It's not for me to say, but I feel like I talked to other foreigners and they found it very weird. Like, it's really seriously taken by these people. But no, for me, can't be able to do that. So, nah. Another thing that you find weird is that, you know, Africans, we always have this African timing. In China, really, they take lateness as a sign of, bro, you feel bad when you're late, especially in important meetings. They're very punctual. I tell you, the 6 years I've lived in China, most of them going to classes, I have never witnessed the teacher being late. Always the late one. And it makes me feel so bad. But Chinese, they have a standard. Like, if you're late, they kind of perceive you a different kind of way, like you're lazy or like something. Like, so you really have to be punctual. And actually, it became like an aspect to me, especially when it's important meetings, etc. I always try to keep my time because I find that it's a good thing. I got to learn from them. They're very, very punctual. If they tell you come to class at 2, you better be there. I've never seen a lecture late. And if they're late, they have a reason and they will send a message prior to tell you. I've always been the late one. Imagine the student and the late one. So yeah, punctuality is really something they very much put at high regard. You should be punctual to all your dealings. And I got that too. These days I like being punctual. Like, if you tell me to be there at 3, I'll be there at 3 unless something happened. Period. Next one. This is something at first I couldn't, you know, I found it very sad, but then it's kind of understandable that most of the kids are raised by their grandparents. So grandparents get to raise their grandkids. Most of the time, the parents are usually in the busy cities, you know, working and everything. So in China, life is very fast, very, very fast, especially in the busy cities. So most likely, you'll not be able to raise kids in those cities. So their way of living is that your kids are raised by your parents, if you get what I mean. The grandparents get to raise their grandkids, and so on. The parents come and visit, of course. Whenever they're free, they come and spend time with their children. But you find that most of them, even when they grow older, they're more inclined or more attached to the grandparents as compared to the parents, which I find very weird because as I was growing up, I mean, I used to visit my grandparents, but most of my growing up, I did at home with my parents, you know. But for them, it's the opposite. Grandparents raise them more, like till a certain age. They're, you know, you find grandparents walking the kids outside, taking them to parks, playing with them. And it's like, at first I didn't get it. But then, yeah, I kind of understand because some cities are really busy. These people, this is also in conjunction. There's another thing. Chinese people are very fast. It's like your pace and theirs would never match. They're very quick and they do things very quickly. I don't know how to explain that, but they have just this way of living, a fast way of life. That you find that there are some cities that are called busy cities, and then there are some cities that are called slow cities, where now the grandparents and, you know, the old people, older generation lives at. Then the first one is where the younger generation goes to, mostly the capital, Beijing, and all those, you know. Like my previous city was in Chengdu. It's also considered a slow city, but then I used to see that everything is just too fast, and they were like, this is not even fast. So I wonder how fast looks like, because yeah, there you find a lot of like older generation people. So most of the times you just pass by a lot of like old people with their grandkids, you know, playing in the parks. You see most of them like that. So I found that very weird, but it's sad, but it's also not that bad. Anyway, you get to grow with your grandparents, I mean, and your parents come anytime. Another thing about China is that it's a cashless economy. You can really survive without. I've not seen a note, a Chinese yuan note in a long while. I don't know since when. It's really, you can survive the life here without having to always do transactions using your hands. Everything online, even the smallest vendor out there, you just pay them online using Alipay and WeChat. So you find that this economy is cashless. From buses, you can, but then that doesn't refute the fact that you can also use cash. You can also use cash if you want to, but I prefer online. So most of the time I don't deal with money physically. It's always online. So that means your phone should always have power, because if it dies and you need to pay for something, you're gone. Another thing in conjunction to that, in China, I don't carry power banks. They have portable power banks at every single section. Just every few kilometers, you find a portable power bank section. I think I'll put the video probably somewhere here, and you can see how you can scan and get a power bank. So you don't need to worry about your phone dying. You can just scan, borrow, and then I think it's usually charging 3 yuan an hour. So depending on how many hours, it's not too expensive. You return it to another post as long as it's the same company. Yeah. So most of the time they just made this life very efficient. I feel like China is very efficient in their means. You're very comfortable. It's very hard to find yourself very bothered, especially in the electronic sector. A lot of things work smoothly. So I really, even if my phone is at 20%, I really don't mind, because I can find a power bank on the road, use it, then return it at any other point as long as it's in the same company. Yeah, so another thing about China is that online shopping is really a thing. Most of the people, inclusive of me, we do online shopping. Like you find that contrary to the normal perception of people, online is much more cheaper sometimes, and it's very efficient. Like when you order something, it takes like 2 to 3 days, 3 to 5 days to arrive. So you just pick your package, and if it's not nice, you can always talk to the seller and return it. So I have lived almost the 6 years just doing online shopping. I barely like shop outside. I mean, when I want to shop outside, probably it's probably groceries and you know, things that I need like today. But things that I can wait for like 3 days, 4 days, I just do it online. Sometimes it's even more cheaper. So online shopping is really a thing. So we also have that what you ordered versus what you got, but most of the time it really works well. You, after a while of practice, you get the hang of it. Okay. And also, in addition to that, there is also something we call Waimai. Waimai is where you can order takeout food. that has spoiled me, because whenever I'm lazy to cook, Waimai is the way. It's called Waimai, where you can order food, then they deliver the food to your door. So honestly, on days I'm tired, Waimai is the way. And you can order any kind of food, rice, chicken, burger, pizza, everything, and it's delivered to your door. So For the lazy people, this is not really nice, because I, as part of that group, when I get lazy, I can order food for days. But that's not nice. People cook, okay? Cook. So that's also a culture. Like, a lot of people just order Weimar. Like, you don't need to strain. And it's not because people are rich. It's just that it's also quite cheap. It's not as expensive. You can eat out. I mean, cooking is basically less cheaper, but also eating or ordering Weimar is usually also cheaper. It's not that bad. Well, for me though, I don't know about others. And then this is another thing that you need to know when you come to China, that most international applications like Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, you cannot access them unless you have a VPN. Virtual Private Network, that's the long form. I don't know how to explain how a VPN works, but it kind of makes your surfing private, so you can be able to access those apps that are not allowed in China. So whenever you're coming to China, remember to get a VPN that's working, because you'll not be able to access WhatsApp, Facebook, YouTube, all those international apps, because they have their own. So they cancel out the ones that are not there. So things like Instagram, some Chinese really, they know of them, but they can't access them, because some of the phones made also in China, the phone itself locks it. So even if you try downloading it, it can't work. So VPN, remember, whenever you're coming to China, get VPN if you want to access international apps. Otherwise, you will suffer for a while. And also get a translator. That's another thing. You know, one thing that has always amazed me till now is that China really doesn't have a lot of people knowing English. You know, you'd think that you'd go somewhere and you meet, like, in a group of 10, at least one that speaks English. And I'm telling you that these people don't know English at all. So be armed and come with your translators ready, and Google Maps, because if you get lost, it's really hard to find someone who can help you. Like, in my 6 years, I can still count the number of people I've met that can speak English. So it's really, really, I mean, you need to know that it's very, for me, it's very weird, because in my country, Kenya, at least in a group of 10, you can find like 5 or 6 who can speak English. But here, they legit just speak Chinese only. And now, to add on top of it, if you're a foreigner, sometimes they're shy. They don't know how to help you. They will just run away from you. So such is life. So another thing, this is just weird, you know. In my country, when we visit malls, we go to window shop. Like, we window shop inside the mall. We don't buy things. Like, you just go and look at things, because things are usually expensive at the mall. But in China, they legit shop at malls. They shop for things. So I still window shop though, unless I'm going to like H&M and Zara, affordable things for me. But yeah, the others, no. And you find like legit brands, Gucci, Dior, Versace, whatever, you know, and they'll be buying them like it's water, you know. Oh, on water too. In China, they don't drink water from the taps. I mean, normal water, when you buy water is cheap. In China, water and rice are the most cheapest things in China. But I found that bizarre, because in my country, you can drink straight up from the tap. And I remember I came here and I tried to drink the water, and the person who saw me was like, "What are you doing?" Like, I felt like I had done a crime. So they legit don't drink tap water. So you have to get used to buying water and drinking the bottled water, bottled water, not the tap water. Yeah, another thing is hair. If you're African, The only people that can do African hair are Africans. So probably most students that know the craft are the people who are going to help you. Otherwise, learn by yourself. So you find that some people get self-sufficient enough to learn by themselves, and when they learn, now it becomes a craft that can earn you money, because now you'll be charging other Africans. And for people who like me, who are not dexterous, I'm not gifted with the gift, I can't do so. I pay the money. Yeah, so but then I've also not gone to experience the Chinese salon or whatever. I've seen some of the people who try to also do it, like some Chinese hairstylists and whatever, who try to do African hair, but I've never tried. And it's also very rare. To sum that up, it's really rare in China to find people that can do the hair. African hair, that is. I think the other kind of the silky hair. Oh, it's the same as the Chinese, so you can always get people to do that one. And finally, these people being the most populated, or I don't know, I think they're top 5 in the most populated country. That's legit. I remember in school when classes would end and we had to go back to our dormitories, I'd feel very claustrophobic because they fill the roads, all the pathways. Like, these people are plenty. Like, you go to parks, especially on weekends, and you dread going there. I don't like going out on weekends sometimes because I know there are gonna be plenty. Bro, these people are plenty. But it's not a bad thing anyway. It's just an observation. As I say, this is not biased. It's just what to expect as a person. So I'm gonna end it there. I mean, there are many things, or probably next time I'll do something that is more personal to me and explain my journey to China and probably the hardships or the, what I experienced coming here and how I overcame. But for now, let me call it a day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Make sure if you like this video, please tap on the like button, subscribe, share, and see you next Sunday. Peace.